Hey everyone. So, just a little bit after sunset, I wanted to share a message with everybody because there's been something that has been going on for quite a while, the last 2 years. But something occurred on Facebook, and I thought I'd share with everyone because I'd like people to know who I am as a person and my perspective, and the position that people often put me in because of A, my spiritual integrity, and B, my centeredness and mindfulness as well. So, long story short, this was about Trump and the Space Force, whatever. And a friend of mine who I don't think we're friends anymore now, but he mentioned that it's like whenever you're making fun of, I don't care if it's your president, he's the worst person in the world. In your reality, that's not the truth. It is only what is in your concept of thought, because it's really like of what you collected from what others have told you, but you're not thinking for yourself. Thinking for yourself, you don't really have an attachment to having emotions towards someone irrelevant to your life. So that's problem A. B, there was a photo that I thought was inappropriate to be doing that. I mean, he is our we are to respect, the leader of all entities, regardless, because that gives us that makes us a good example for our children, because children are going to look to that and then treat you when they get to a certain age and say, well, didn't you act this way when blah blah and blah. My younger sister does that to my dad. That's how I know that. Anyway, but I said if a Space Force was created, and I said this in a previous video, it's probably because NASA has its own confidentiality and SpaceX has its own confidentiality. And the weird thing about Trump is, heck, even I know like this is probably inappropriate wording for certain people who follow me, but when you read on someone, let's say if you're an empath or you're a spiritual guide or what, you're intuitive, you can actually look at someone's body language, the blinks of their eyes when they talk. Usually when someone's thinking too much or trying to come up with something, they blink a lot. And guess what? He rarely blinks. He goes blink over here and he talks. He goes back over here, boom, boom, boom. But every time words come out of his mouth, you do not see his eyes flicker. Anytime when someone says, this is what I do a lot. When someone goes, it's really, they're trying to come from in or out. And I think that's the part where people don't relate to certain people when they don't say, but someone who's very coordinated, they won't say, all the time. Anyways, going back to topic. So the sixth branch of the military is what the Space Force was, and it's under Trump's authority and our military. That light was doing something weird. What's interesting is that people are so quick to say that's our tax dollars and our money he's wasting, blah, blah, and blah. But the question that they're really not asking is, why is there a Space Force created? What is going on that we don't know? So if people would ask that question aloud, then it brings, and then some people, they just don't want to be in concept of theory, because concept of theory leaves you to always be in questionable doubt, number one. Number two, on a path of looking for answers that you'll probably never know. But at least you can have some inner clarity that something's going down. And you can also equate someone who everyone has falsified as the worst man in the world as equal as you are. He's probably in a blind spot as well as we are, because the people of that group obviously shown that they don't like him, they don't want him, He's not in the inner circle. He's obviously expressed he funded himself to get where he is. But also too, if you go down to there's this very interesting I have to dig for his YouTube. It's smothered with everyone else's videos. Gosh darn, Nibru X group. They have over smothered us with Skywatch videos, and it's fine. I love you guys. But there's a guy, I think if you do Trump 777 truth, or 711 Jesus Trump truth, I'm gonna do that right now and see if that video comes up. But you'll be surprised how in numerology and numerical quantum physics synchronicity, how everything's exactly by design since before Jerusalem was first taken away as a state. When what was that, 1948 when it was separated before it came back together? I think I'm correct. And then 1962 it was put back. Something, it's close to that. I can't think off the top of my head. But yeah, it has been about about 70 years from the time that he was elected that Jerusalem was not. It was established as a new state. That is correct. It was established. So there's a lot of things, and we may not be comfortable with certain people, and for what we know, but we have to understand the will of the Creator and the covenant that was made. And we're dealing with multiple gods. If you guys haven't quite yet known that, we have Yahweh and we have our Heavenly Father. And there's a lot of players, and I'm still working on this project. It's taking me forever. So I'm trying to like draw figurines, right? And each figurine, like Yaldabaoth, Yahweh, Baal, Lucifer, Satan. And I'm trying to pinpoint who they were in Greek mythology, because someone was Ares, someone was Kronos, someone was Poseidon. And of the women, we had Isis, we had Hagar, and then there was Abraham's concubine wife, Hagar, which is the same person in the Greek mythology. This was actually what I channeled years ago, believe it or not, because the half god, half human Hercules, that is one of the sons of Abraham. Abraham was Imhotep in Egypt. I'm trying to like give you guys a synopsis of what I'm trying to put together. Anyways, back to topic. So I'm in this conversation with my friend, and I'm saying, you have gone so far out of perspective here that it got to the point where he actually called me the devil's advocate. The fact that I would step in to say, you know, Aaron, it seems that you don't take anyone's sides, but you just like to stir the pot. And I'm like, well, I would rather bring inner peace and have a statement of clarity and clairvoyance for my friend who's self-sabotaging himself. And it's all in the mind. And if you guys listen to Alan Watts is blunt about, there's nothing matters until it's in the mind. And I even have my own quote that says, the darkest place in all the world's between your ears. And the darkest place is on top of your gift. And if you don't use your gift, then the darkest place in all the world will always be a matter to you. This is why I speak words of wisdom. This is why I try to be as encouraging as possible. But I had to tell my friend, how do you think I'm not an angry person? How do you think I had to overcome adversity? I had to overcome adversity because I believe it or not, everybody, I'm dealing with several chronic illnesses, you know, blood related, immune system related, thyroid related, vitamin D deficient related. I was anemic when I was vegetarian, and my hemoglobin was off. So I really, through my heightened experience and my high vibrational experience, I really jacked up my body because I thought vegetarianism was the way. And that's why I think now it was a sabotaging concept of my misguided mindfulness. But I was telling my friend, I've been through physical abuse. I've been assaulted when I was 17 years old, not by choice, obviously. You know, I had I forgive my family member who physically abused me, and all the people throughout school who criticized me. They called me gay, they called me fag, they called me queer, they called me girl. You know, I have to deal with that every day of my schooling until I was 18 years old. So for someone to say, like, I don't know anger, I can't associate with what kind of corrupted world we live in, I'm like, I understand the corrupted world we live in. I'm still trying to help others sort out the corruption because it was corrupted 2,000 plus years ago. We don't even know our own text, our history. We're just all finding out there's multiple, kings that rule over, our spiritual warfare. Right? We all just figured this out. I watch other people too, who I look up to in the YouTube community, and they say exactly what I say the week that I say these videos. Or I like literally down to the minutes or hours after. Like even yesterday, who was on? There was a live stream with darn it, I forget his name. But he was on a live stream with Global Witness, Derek. And they were talking exactly of the same topic that I posted, which was the mark of the beast. Check that video out. It's pretty cool. You don't have to search for answers. I laid it out for you. Anyways, but it just breaks my heart that people have really drank the wine of self-corruption, and they just love the attention of self-sabotaging themselves. And you don't have to do that. I mean, the mind is the enemy. It's not the enemy's the enemy. And it was funny because I was poking fun in my last video, saying it's so funny how a lot of us, we were thinking that there was a man in the bottomless pit with a pitchfork who, out of all the billions of people in the world, has it out for you specifically. People can exist, or beings can exist on the earth and not want any association with you at all, but then our mindfulness or misguided mindfulness can create an enemy out of that person, specifically on how we selected to put that person in our perspective. I don't like to say reality because we all share one reality. And I think that's the biggest mistake, is a lot of people think it's individual particular realities. No, that is not true. We are on one plane, one earth, be it flat or round, whatever. We're all in this third dimensional consciousness transforming to a fifth dimensional consciousness as a sixth root race eventually, as our earth moves into a seventh root race. It's our path of ascension. We have to go through this. So I summed up a lot of my old videos into this, but I'm going to wrap this up. But I just want to inspire people that your adversity comes from how you learn to be peaceful, and that everlasting peacefulness that you have. I actually want to put a video link in my description below. Gary Lite, he is amazing because he has this soothing voice of narration, and it kind of sounds like mine a little bit, but he has a very smooth way that he talks about everything, and he's such an idol. His idol was Nikola Tesla, And Gary, you're such a smart person. You're so bright, and keep it up, dude. Aaron loves you. So check that out below about the everlasting peace, because that is the only path to, when all this goes kapoof and the world's falling apart physically, not just emotionally, you're going to be fine when you can find this inner clarity, inner peace, everlasting peace. Or if you know it's your last day because, you know, the earth is one big giant ice cube and there's no breath left, you can actually just rest in peace. You know, that's where the term came from. Everlasting rest. And that is what peace is. So, thank you guys for listening. God bless Facebook and what it has done to people's mind and mentality. And to those who can live in a Trump world without having so much rage and aggression, I commend you for that. Because that's true repentance of your heart. And it's true forgiveness of your true being. And it's not saying you support him. It's not saying, but we have to be good people and we have to live doing the right thing. And sometimes the right thing is to let things go without making other people corrupted over information. That's why I like to keep my videos in good light. Because if I start telling you guys every conspiracy that everyone else is putting out there, they're not putting resolutions to their topics. They're leaving their topics open-ended and leaving you with anxiety. So I think I play a good role with putting some clarity on what do you do with yourself at the end of the day. How do you manage yourself at the end of the day? And these are words for wisdom. Have a good day.